question today is what to do if a journalist publishes a story about your organisation that's negative. There are two things to think about at the start. The first is it accurate and is it true? And the second is it objective? So in terms of accuracy, if it's totally wrong and untrue and it's quite clear, and you approach the journalist, it could well be that they've merely made a mistake in reporting some information and they're happy to put it right, and that's the end of the matter. If the reporter doesn't agree with you that it's inaccurate, that's when you can produce your evidence, your source or your information that shows that they're wrong, essentially. Ask for a clarification, a correction, and they should publish that straight away. A grey area is where you say it's unfair, it's not objective, and they say it is, and they're sticking with that story, that version. If that's the case, good ways for you to get around this and mitigate the negative coverage of the original story are for you to offer the journalist a follow-up with more information, which, if it's newsworthy, they'll cover, and therefore that will start to push the original story down the rankings. You might want to offer the reporter an exclusive, perhaps an interview with the MD, for example, or your project manager, giving some in-depth information and background for the first time. You might want to invite the journalist to site to come view the product or walk around and experience the product for themselves so they can write a review piece about it. You can, of course, throughout all this, be putting your own positive stories out, either about the news item itself that's been reported inaccurately, or about other products and stories from your organisation. These will all help in the ranking of the negative story to diminish it. Ultimately, there are laws, media laws, against libel and contempt of court. Proper journalists who have been trained and qualified in journalism will adhere to these laws, so nothing that appears should break them. However, of course, what's interesting these days is that we're all publishers. Anyone can post items online when they write a blog or make a social media posting. And we've seen a lot of examples of late whereby the police have been involved, interviewing, sometimes arresting, and sometimes trials have been held against members of the public who have carried out libel or contempt of court with their postings. So this is definitely an area, one to watch for you, and probably a top tip is if there is a negative story about your organisation, probably best to get a media expert in to advise you and deal with it